Alrighty. Hey y'all, welcome to the Harbingers D&D campaign. This is our recap session. Um so we're super stoked to be here with you all. I know some people it takes them a couple minutes to flood in, so we won't start on the recap quite yet. We'll just give a couple announcements at the beginning here, but we're happy to welcome everybody in. Um, so yeah, we're super excited. We've kind of changed up a little bit of our design here. So we can actually know the names behind everybody, which I mean they're public, so it's not like they're hidden, but so I am Emily Ross. I am the dungeon master for the Harbingers D&D campaign. And I guess I'll give just a quick little simple 1 minute introduction. I'm married to Kobe Ross. I'm super married if you want to check out our merch online. um and let's see. Yeah, I'm from Colorado and it's super awesome, super fun DMing. Players, do you guys want to just give a tiny little bit about yourselves real quick? Just while people are joining in.
Should we roll initiative?
Roll initiative. Maybe we'll just read it like a book. So Greg can go, then Dane, and then Megan. Oh, Greg, you're on mute. Greg?
Oh no, did we lose Greg?
Did we lose Greg? I have no idea. Okay, Greg, we lost Greg. That's so sad. Well, Dane, would you like to introduce yourself real quick?
Sure. Hello, everybody. My name is Dane Selch. I play Douse, who is a water genasi. If you've been following along, he's also a monk, warlock, and now cleric. A little bit about me: I'm recent college grad, going into looking for jobs in computer science, and life is wonderful. You threw off my groove.
Oh, sorry. My apologies. Go ahead, keep going. At least you can hear me now. Good.
Gamer, computer scientist, and cellist. That's me.
Nice.
Did not know you
Awesome.
played the cello. That's actually new.
Alrighty, Greg, you
play
want
it
to
more than I
go?
do, but sorry.
Okay.
Go ahead, Greg.
All right. I'm Greg Langlois. I've been playing a lot of D&D. I've been doing it pretty much my whole life. Playing with my siblings mostly, but as of late, I've been able to play with these guys, and so it's been a lot of fun. I like games. I like doodling, drawing here and there, telling stories. That's always been a passion of mine. Acting, storytelling, basically everything around it. And I do play a little bit of music here and there. I would not consider myself very good, but I'm okay. And that's, as long as you're having fun with something, that's really what counts when you're looking for things to do. So
Yeah.
that's all for me. Megan.
Hello, everyone. I am Megan Van Hoy. As it says here, actually on the stream call that we're doing, my name is under Silver Dusk. That is what I consider my artist name. I am an artist, a musician. I am from Colorado and currently studying animation at UVU here in Utah. And if you're interested, I do have a few side gigs. I do art commissions on Fiverr, and I am starting up a business where I will be selling crocheted goods on Facebook Marketplace.
Oh, awesome. Also, not the real Jay. Love your comment. Beware the groove.
Beware the groove. Also, real quick, I did mention that I'm a musician. I play a few different instruments. My go-to right now is violin.
Nice. Okay. So we've got a celloist and a violinist here. Nice, nice. I applaud you.
Come next week, we'll have an entire orchestra, and we'll just swap from D&D.
Okay, so Sierra's not here, so we get to assign her an instrument. What instrument are we assigning Sierra?
I'm gonna say a
Piccolo.
piccolo.
I was yeah, dude. I was gonna say I was thinking tuba, and I mean piccolo is not too far off. I mean it's a wind instrument, I believe.
I can't
So, I
believe
mean,
we all just thought piccolo immediately.
I mean, my first thought was to put her on the bass, which would have been fun. I was
Mhm.
like, nah.
Yeah.
uh,
Oh gosh. Okay.
good.
Well, it looks like we're getting some more people on the stream. So let's
Okay.
go ahead and give a couple announcements real quick. So we've introduced everyone, all of our well, Sierra isn't here, unfortunately. She's out with family. But Sierra is awesome. She also is originally from Colorado. She's currently living in Utah. Um, she's great. I don't really know what to say. Um, like for
She's cool.
specifics or anything. She's pretty cool. She's
Acting,
pretty dope.
film,
Yeah.
yeah, cool stuff. Cool
All
stuff.
the whole triple threat. But anyways, we love our players and we just love everyone who comes and joins in on oh my goodness, on our sessions every week. We really wouldn't be here if it weren't for you guys. So today we are going to be doing our recap of episodes 25 through 37. And we're going to try and keep them brief down to the important information that you guys need to know. Um, and maybe a couple funny moments thrown in there. Um, we are super excited to help get everyone up to speed on the Harbingers campaign, and the hope is that if you watch this recap episode, then by the time next week rolls around, you'll already be a Harbingers expert and be able to hop right into the story. Don't have to watch all the previous ones if you don't want to. Um, we also will be hosting in this recap episode at the very end of our recap. We're going to be doing a Q&A session, question and answer. So if you guys have questions, the audience, just put them in the chat and we'll go through them at the end of the episode and we'll answer any and all questions you have live here on Twitch and on YouTube, wherever you're watching from.
So,
So,
uh,
yeah.
Emily, I just gotta say, I'm I'm watching the restream, and I saw your husband come in behind you on screen, and I didn't process it that it wasn't my screen, and I immediately thought someone was behind me.
Oh no.
Definitely
You're
made me
like
jump.
someone's in the house.
I was like, huh, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, my husband's the best. I love
Mm-hmm.
him.
That's pretty cool.
Sorry you thought there was a stranger in your house.
I just saw the red shirt. I was like, who's wearing the red shirt?
Well, I guess you could say it's one of the perks of being super married, guys. Check out our merch online. Super
Rubbing it in
awesome.
all of our single faces.
She said the thing.
Sorry.
She said the thing.
Sorry, guys. I just had to sport it because I was super excited about the hat. It looks really good. Anyways, okay. So I think that's all the announcements that we have. We'll be starting up the campaign again next week, next Friday at 6:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time with the next session, which would be session 38. So, without further ado, the first section of sessions that we're going to cover tonight is being covered by Greg. So, Greg, if you want to kick us off with session
Absolutely.
25.
Absolutely. It's good to. This is actually the second time I've recapped these episodes, so I have a slight advantage, which means that my hubris will be my downfall. But I'll get started. We don't have a ton of time. We want to be brief. So let us begin. Session 25. Just a slight context. We just finished like this big Jackalware quest. We slew the bad guys, won the day, and returned back to the town. And then we're getting information. Nuri may or may not throw a couple chromatic orbs which may or may not have been fire chromatic orbs, which did burn down the town. It was impressive. Not all of it. Like, she didn't kill anybody.
It's a quarter of the town.
Just, yeah, I mean, they were harmed, but they weren't dead. Some severely, but it's okay. It's okay. No one died. But we start session 25, like, right after this. Marilla is talking to, she's talking to Azon. Marilla's a kind old lady. She used to be traveling with the Shards of Hope. She broke off, actually, in my session. We'll get there. But she's talking to Azon. Azon caught a glimpse of Dusty without his bandages, which is pretty dangerous information. We also find out that Azon is a very smart person, particularly when it comes to lore. He understands the history of the world very well. While Marilla's talking to Azon, Amaris wakes up. Amaris is woken up by Nuri, who's currently talking to her husband. Another small note: she contacted her husband, and her husband appeared. Her husband's name is Esmond, and she leaves, and Amaris sees him leave, but she doesn't know what to say, so she's just kind of paralyzed, sitting there. Douse breaks the silence, saying, "Nuri, you set the town on fire," and she's like, "Yeah, I did that." And Mars kind of freaks out. Everyone's freaking out, except for Nuri. He probably should be the one freaking out. Amaris mentions that, like, she's been betrayed before, and she doesn't want to be betrayed again. The beginning of Nuri and Amaris's, like, falling out. Then we have Nuri and Dusty both get a message from Marilla to leave the inn, so they do. And canonically, I put a note down that Dusty looks good in pink. Canonically, several people said it, so it's just, it looks good.
Yeah, he's wearing the pink drape.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty fantastic. It looked pretty good. Let's see. Yeah, so Nuri actually talks to Azon. As Azon is leaving, Nuri sees him and is like, "Oh, hey, I want to talk to you," and starts talking to him. While this is going on, Douse, he's like sitting in his room, and he's thinking, he's thinking about what he should even do. Nuri starts taking Azon out of town because she's afraid people are going to be getting her in there. Let's see. She wants information from him, and in particular, she wants information about the Heralder. Eventually, after bits and pieces, she spills the beans that they are related. Azon is her uncle, and they have like a direct line of blood towards each other, and so they super related. And yeah, Azon's sister is Nuri's mom. And then we come back to Douse. Douse, Wei starts talking to Douse and drops a big bomb on him about a figurative bomb, an information bomb, that she is, in fact, the ocean, the spirit of the ocean, or at least a part of the spirit of the ocean. In a way, she is. She convinces Douse to start moving and believing in himself a little bit, kind of rudely as she does, but she helps. So Douse goes to see if he can pay off the damages that Nuri has left. Azon does open up to Nuri about the Heralder. We even get his name, Nuvian. Let's see. Yeah, we get a lot of lore here. If you're after lore, go rewatch episode 25. It goes. It goes.
So much lore.
Yeah. Key points. The Winter Court is not directly opposed to the dark elves. The dark elves were under the Winter Court. Nuvian is like the head dark elf. Like that's him. He's like he's the big guy. And so Azon has met him once, but doesn't know him very well. But Nuri and Azon eventually start arguing. Little do they know, but the rest of our party is behind. We're eagerly waiting to step in if anything starts happening. And Amaris does. She pushes them apart and is like, hey, you guys need to grow up. And yeah, it breaks apart. Nuri and Azon leave on pretty bitter terms. Douse goes to talk to the mayor and is able to get some pretty sizable charges dropped. Marilla talks to Nuri and lets her know about the danger that she put herself in by telling Azon all that she told him. The wise old lady of lore that she is. And that's about where episode 25 ends. Lots more. Go rewatch it, please. That'd be fantastic if you want like full details. So that's session 25. Session 26. We all find letters. We don't, however, find Marilla, who seems to have left. Dusty saw her leave in the middle of the night and put notes in everyone's belongings. Let's see. Amaris leaves to go get Douse, who's in town, and they grab their stuff, and then as they're coming back, Dusty and Nuri have a conversation. Dusty figures out what's going on and apologizes for not fully understanding Nuri's situation, but he tries to anyways. And Nuri decides to try and contact Dane again. When she does, she hears a gravelly voice of some evil entity telling her to stop looking. This she takes as a good sign because it means she's a big enough threat for them to actually try to contact her. Then Douse and Amaris return. Douse explains the situation, and then Dusty wants to say goodbye to the Tough Hammer family, so he goes back with Amaris. Amaris goes to the temple to say goodbye to Dane. In-game Dane, not Dane, not. Anyway, it's not confusing if you don't make it. Amaris, she goes to the temple to say goodbye to Dane, her sister, and she sees a lot of sick people, injured people from the fires, and she decides to help them and take care of them. Dusty goes and visits the Tough Hammer family and apologizes for the drapes. By the way, episode 26 has a like goal. If you go back and like that episode, when we get to 100 likes, we will canonically make it so Tax has unicorn drapes. So, I mean, if that's something you feel like she deserves, I mean, you should go back and like the video. If you haven't already, feel free to.
Do it for the drapes.
It was for the drapes. Let's see. Dusty gives him a heads up about Mona, one of the Jackalwares who decided to live rather than die. She went to the town that the Tough Hammers live in. Dusty warns him about his dad. Well, not warns, he gives him a heads up. If he comes looking for me, send him my way, basically. Tax gives Dusty a bracelet. Very important bracelet to her. As a memoriam. And then we all meet up. We travel for a little bit and find, without Marilla, finding a cabin with a den of cockatrice. We know cockatrice are farmed here, and they ask for some help killing a manticore. We track down the manticore and we fight it and are able to be victorious. But Amaris, during the fight, accidentally blows up basically literally everyone in the party with a spell. It was quite painful, emotionally and physically.
Megan,
Okay.
do you remember what spell that was?
It was Glyph of Warding. Glyph of Warding. It was a special effect for it, and I had misread the spell, and did not tell them the full range of the explosion.
Oops.
Whoopsies.
Yeah. So we got bloated up. Oops. Okay.
Explosion. If
That
you want to see
is
explosions, go check out that episode.
yeah, classic. That is episode 26. Lastly, session 27. We get back, collect our reward of a ride to town from Ophelia and Silas, the two people who lived in the cottage. We travel for 2 days, and we arrive towards town. We see Val and Echo on the way, and decide to bring them with us. They have been told off by the guild. They have too many PTOs stacking up, and they have to go find a way to get rid of them. So they're going to town. Apparently, they have to go to some festival or something for
Oh,
fun.
and just a
Classic.
side note, just to add into this, Val and Echo are Parker and Brandon from Not One Nerds podcast, who we've done a couple crossovers with. So they've been coming back every now and then to come reprise their characters.
Yeah, it's been fantastic. Yeah, I love it every time they come.
They're awesome. Continue.
You find out a little bit more about Echo. He's like connected to the spirits of the afterlife. It's kind of funky, but he can like summon them and tell stories through them. Funky, 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 funky. But we reach town to, I believe this is Sunshield. We are doing, they're doing like these Halloween sort of celebrations, Midsummer Haunt, as they refer to it. And there's a bunch of festivities that we explore. We meet the guild warden there, Jimbo, a turtle, not a turtle, a turtle, which is a person turtle. In case you're curious, we decide to get into the festivities. We dress up. Amaris sings at the inn, which the innkeeper is or not at the inn. It was at the inn. Yeah, we were at the inn. Yeah. But she sings at the inn, to which the person running the place was very happy and said, no, keep singing. You're good. Then we have lots of festivities. We participate in some of the festivities. We dunk a bugbear, who kept telling us we couldn't, but we did. Got him. We do a pumpkin carving contest, which Val wins. And Nuri, upset and flustered, searches for a library to see if she can find some more information. Dusty follows Nuri, and as he is, we see this great pillar of green light erupt from one of the buildings. And as it does, we watch as all these people form into their costumes and become almost what they dressed as. Even we are susceptible to this change as we morph slightly, but empowered, we decide to stay and help the town as best we can. That is the end of episode 27. So that is my time.
Thank you. And also welcome Seji to the chat. Thank you so much for that awesome and detailed recap. We are super excited. The next episodes are going to be 28 through 31, right? Correct me if I'm wrong on that, with Megan. No, it's 28 through 30.
Yeah, because
28
episode
through
28 was broken up into 2 parts due to some technical difficulties.
Yeah.
Continuing on with this Halloween sessions, everyone has been merged into their costumes, and very first one that we get to fight is the bugbear. And it was a pretty intense fight. No matter how many times we beat this bear, he is not going down. It was a pretty intense fight. And Nuri decided to dip out of all of it to go to the library, only to come back after hearing a child in distress. There was a lot that went into this fight. One of the highlights being Val going straight for the source of what is causing all of this, only to open the door and unleash some more villains on top of us. So he has activated everything out there, onto us. So he's trying to hold his own while we're trying to watch his back. Nuri comes back, helps out a bit. Dusty beats the bugbear by taking out the 3 targets that were used to dunk him. Overall, huge fight. After that fight, Dusty heals all of us up, and we go to the inn, where the next strike of light has gone. We go there and realize that the inn upstairs was turned into a haunted house. And that's what we've got to go through next. Once again, intense fight. And near the beginning of it, Nuri actually does an area effect spell that affects everything within 5 feet around her. One thing that she wanted to do was push Amaris down the stairs, but after realizing that would take her whole action, she decided against it and did the spell anyway. And Amaris is within 5 feet of her. So Greg has already shared there's already some tension going on between Amaris and Nuri. And this just brings more tension to it, which we will get to later. Fight goes on. Val does the exact same thing, going straight for the door, opening it, and unleashing all of the villains on us once again. But we make it through. We somehow make it through, especially with the fact that Emily was drowning in nat 20s against us. But we pushed through.
Remember that?
We
That
win in
was
the
like
end.
so fun.
We pushed through. We made it through to the end. We talked to Atura, who runs the tavern and the inn, to find out what's going on. And Val goes down, brings up the one who caused the spell. His name is Garm. His reasoning for causing the spell was because he wanted a really rad costume to win the costume contest. But he did not read the whole spell. And we find out that he actually has taken books from Atura before. So there's a lot of charges being pressed on this guy, as we're going to be taking him to the guards later. We find out that the crystal that he used to cast the spell was actually shattered, and the shards are in 3 different places. Nuri finds one in the courtyard in the dunk tank. Val and Amaris go up to the attic, where they find another shard. And it's around this time that we realize that people merging with their costumes did not just happen in the world of Kalimber, but also in the real world as well, as Emily experienced it firsthand. And here is video proof over that.
No, it's not possible.
Here's video proof of it. Where did I put it? Okay, right here.
I think I rolled the wrong thing.
Sorry, someone just came pounding on my door. 1 second. Holy crud! Why? Pulling off my camera and showing everyone that there is a dinosaur coming into the room. D20s, baby.
There's a what?
Oh my god.
Her giant sword.
He's being threatened.
I heard that
For
too.
everyone watching the stream, a dinosaur has
being-
entered my room. So give me one
Oh.
moment. Oh, I love that video.
Powerful magics.
Those are my roommates. They had just gotten a dinosaur costume and they wanted to surprise me. I told them I was on stream and they were like, "Nah, we're bursting in the dinosaur costume."
I mean, it was on brand for that episode. So, to be fair,
It was perfect.
fantastic.
And wasn't it later down the line you were saying that the dinosaur was wrecking the Halloween costumes in your apartment?
Oh my gosh, it was. All the decorations. Yeah, we had like we had what's it called? This fake cobwebs like strung up around, and it kept getting like the head of it would get caught on all the cobwebs, and so it was literally like tearing down all of our decorations because we had lights woven into the cobwebs. And so, like, everything was coming down. Like, this dinosaur was wrecking the entire
No.
apartment. It was very funny.
That's probably fine. It's fine.
So yeah, some jokes were made about the fact that Garm had unleashed the spell very powerfully, enough that it had expanded between time and space itself and made its way into our world. After finding these two shards, we have come to the conclusion that the third shard was in the graveyard where the third strike happened. So Nuri and Dusty sent Houdini and one other owl to fly to the graveyard, get the shard, and bring it back. And with that, Atura was able to finish the spell and get everything figured out. After that, Val and Dusty took Garm to the guards to have him pay for what he did. And he was very accommodating. He didn't fight it or anything. While they're doing that, Nuri has quite the talk with Atura to try and find out more about the alchemist to continue her research. And she has obviously been very upset with things that have happened. After everything with Garm was figured out and the talk with Atura has ended, Val and Nuri go down to the bar and over a few drinks have a very heartfelt talk about everything that is going on. It's beautifully done. Beautifully done. I highly recommend going back. The episode is called Tavern of Terror, and this talk between them is at the very end. Very well done. The next morning, everyone wakes up and goes downstairs. Val and Neko are no longer there. They have left a note for everyone. And Val has left a little gift for Nuri, a drinking flask, because he felt she needed it for some reason. And everyone is down there except Amaris. She never came down. No one has seen her, so they think, oh, she's still up in her room. They go to look for her and find the room empty, save for a single slip of paper that they pick up and read and find out it is a letter from Amaris to Dane, her sister, who is in a coma, saying, or just explaining a little bit of the adventures that they have been on, and talks a little bit about what happened between Nuri and the town, how she burned it down, and how from that point on she has been different. And Amaris has explained that the look in her eyes is one that she has only seen once before. Which Nuri knows about it. Dusty finds out later, which I'm pretty sure is going to be in the episodes talked about by the next person. I forgot if it's Dane or Emily.
It'll be Dane next.
It'll be Dane next. So everyone immediately thinks, okay, she's not in a good place. We need to go to help her. And they are setting up a search party to go find Amaris when connection is disrupted once again and we had to cut the episode short. On to you, Dane.
Okay.
Can I make one comment real quick, though? I'm out in the boonies here in Colorado. Wi-Fi is not good.
We need to like get like fiber optic cables and just like pay like $100,000 or whatever, and just like straight. It's probably more than that actually. Gee, yeah, we ain't got that kind of cash.
Yeah,
Whoa.
I don't know what's going on. Technically, my computer isn't even connected to the Wi-Fi right now because it wasn't working on my computer earlier. This is straight Ethernet streaming, guys.
See, I don't know how. I mean, it works if it works. If it works.
It works. There we go. But
I mean,
on to you,
I
Dane.
haven't noticed any problems on your end currently, but all right.
Well, that's good.
Anyways, so To continue from where we had left off, there was Amaris was out practicing with her new sword, Time Piercer, I believe. When Dusty and Nuri had found her, and they start talking, trying mostly Dusty trying to figure out what's going on, why she vanished. Nuri's a little ways back reading lips as she does. Uh, and as things are still kind of rough, Douse gets dragged in by, I forget, was it just two? Or was it,
I think it was 2.
It was
yeah,
2.
just two rambunctious goats. Douse being a short little boy, he has no control over these massive beings that terrify him.
Short little blue boy.
Yes.
Blue boy.
Completely disrupts the scene, and eventually things get calmed down. We can finally have our heart to heart. It is revealed how Nuri had contacted her son with the message, how she had reached out to Esmond, um, all of which Amaris had apparently been awake for and slightly terrified of. Uh, and it's revealed from Amaris' side that she's actually scared of Nuri because of that look, which is one that she's seen from her sisters. Correct me if I had gotten that wrong.
No, you got that right.
Okay.
Ooh.
Who were basically just after her life. We were able to come to a bit of understanding after talking, and tensions were still a bit high, but everybody was exhausted through the long day. So we return back to our house, back to the inn, where Dusty decides that he's going to talk to talk to Nuri and then myself, Douse, and Amaris. I not so much success with Amaris. Was able to talk with Nuri and convey how the actions she's taking, burning a village, like they are kind of scary, and she does need to think of these things. Um, Douse, in the meantime, is downstairs baking some pies. Uh, I mean, he finishes making those pies and goes to share with everybody. Um, Come the morning, Douse remembers that Dusty actually wanted to talk with him as well, and um, at this point, it is revealed to Douse the identity of Dusty as something that Douse doesn't really understand.
A warforged.
A shower.
A war for a shower, a man full of prosthetics. It though blurry, the point gets drawn across. Kind of the idea what Dusty is. Um, in way has her fun teasing about how she knew everything. Um, Fast forward a little bit past the day, we finally, past breakfast, we head out to. I just had the destination a second ago. Was
Basin
it?
wind?
I thought it was Lake Mount.
Oh yeah,
Over
you're
to
heading
the.
out towards Lake Mount, which is in the
Yeah,
Versailles dynasty.
yes. Over to the Versailles Dynasty so that we could find the alchemist and talk to her. Um, Along the way, we run into Claude, a very kind and wonderful uh, Earth Genasi, who's also on his pilgrimage, and mentions that there's actually some issue in the hamlet up ahead. Uh, a lot of people have been falling into comas. That's right up our alley, what we're looking for. We, but that's also where the session ends. Fast forward to the next session. I keep saying fast forward. We head on our way to the hamlet so that we may help these people that are in comas. And we get there, we meet Quinn, who is the close friend of Nuri. Quinn has been watching over Ami, Nuri's son, and I forget exactly what her reasoning was to come over here and help out. If she had been traveling, um,
I don't know if she said, actually.
but or how she got there, at least. But she's there. She's been up for so many days on end trying to solve this coma issue. Uh, Turns out people who fall asleep there have not been waking up. Not similar, not like our comas where they had died and been brought back to life, but this was just an out of the blue, no one woke up kind of a sensation. Luckily, there was an encampment outside of town that had a bunch of the children and a teacher who was watching over them, so that they weren't in any danger. But despite the situation, or despite being asleep, many of these people were still exhausted and were not. They were being drained, is what it was. Uh, Tension still high between Amaris and Nuri. The group splits up into two, Dusty and Nuri to take care of these patients, while Douse and Amaris to go search of clues for a monster. Uh, while Quinn heads off to the camp and gets a well-needed nap. Um, in their search, there were no tracks found, no evidence of any monsters found, but rather a potion of lucid dreaming, 3 of them to be exact. They bring those back and they discuss options of how they could figure out what's causing this. There's no physical evidence, and really the only option left is to enter the dreams themselves. Uh, Dusty, being the brave soul, was the first to down one of the drinks, and despite being a robot, actually fell asleep. Um, he was able to wander around, figure out a few, or speak to some of the comatose patients, which each of them was in their own delusion of actually quite delightful situations where they're reconnecting with long lost friends or family, and Dusty assuming each of the roles individually. Uh, Eventually, the extraplanar being uh,
The
who
dream
was
holder?
the dream holder. I know he's a dream holder, but I didn't know how to describe him.
Are you talking about when you first like saw him as the person?
I was just trying to be a vague description of a creature.
Voices.
The voice is
Yeah.
the
Eyes.
omnipotent
The
being of this
eyes.
Spooky.
dreamscape.
That's a good adjective.
Became well. Anyways, the dream holder became aware of Dusty's presence and cut off all connection he had through Way to us. That's something I had forgotten to mention. We were using Way as a telepathic communicator to Dusty as he was sleeping. Immediately alert, Nuri jumps in to help, and Douse and Amaris, a little bit slower to jump in, follow suit. And I believe that is the end of my episodes.
Yeah. Thank you. Alrighty. Well, I had sessions 34 through 37, so I got my notes, guys. All of them. Well, All right, so for session 34 and 35, those were primarily battle sessions as the party fought against the being that Dane was talking about, the Dream Holder. Okay, now the Dream Holder basically they discovered um kind of how to describe this. He basically was feeding off of the emotions and the dreams of the people who fell asleep and wasn't letting them wake up. Okay. So once they finish fighting, or well, I guess during the time while they're fighting the dream holder, since he deals with dreams and stuff, he showed all of the players nightmarish versions of people that they loved. So Dusty saw his father telling him that he wasn't even a being that should have been created. And that was pretty horrifying. He also saw probably the scariest thing, a rabbit. That was pretty scary for Dusty. Um, Amaris saw her sisters and even actually went to bleeding out as they circled around her and threatened to kill her as she saw that again. And Douse saw so many visions of poor Dane. Dane, who is one of Amaris' sisters, but the good one, the good sister, who is in a coma. AKA, we kind of are teasing that maybe his girlfriend, maybe not. He doesn't know where they stand.
They
Um,
were just starting to get into a relationship.
yeah, they were just starting to get into a relationship when she went into the coma. So he saw lots of visions of Dane saying that he'll never be able to right the wrongs of his past and he'll never live up to anything and just these horrible things. And then Nuri saw visions of her husband and her son calling her a monster, saying that he didn't even know if she was his mother anymore because of the horrific things that she had done and of burning down a village and all this stuff. And it was crazy. Lots of trauma. If you want to see some really intense emotional role play, go watch that. It's a lot of crazy stuff. Um they also discover during at the end of that battle when they all are able to escape the dreamscape with the help of Wei once they defeated the dream holder, they discovered what was actually happening to the coma patients. So, what they came to understand, or what Nuri came to understand as she finished up her research and discovered, is that the stone rings that we had seen previously attached to all of these monsters that they have been fighting, these stone rings with what she thought was like siphoning just purely like magical energy, they're actually also siphoning spirits. So, when someone dies or gets close to death, um, at some point after that, their soul is whisked away a into one of these rings where it gets held and trapped um, until it gets broken. And for them, what they realize is that when the ring is broken, it's like a explosion scattering effect where the souls aren't destroyed per se, they're just scattered all around the world. And so in order to be brought back to their bodies, they have to be rejoined um, with their bodies. And so Sierra, or Nuri, sorry, Nuri finally was able, after 20 hours of additional research, was able to create the spell that would allow her to find the soul, locate the soul wherever it is in the world, and bring it back to a location next to her and where their body is, if she's by the body. Um, so that was the spell she got it. And so they still have to go to the alchemist because the alchemist has the other half as to what they believe um, in completing the spell, being able to join the body or join the spirit to their body. So that way they can come back to life and the coma patients can return and everyone can be happy again. So yeah, so that's what they figured out about the coma patients. And it's super exciting because they gotta go find the alchemist. Um, they did leave that little hamlet, that little village with hope. as they shared that they were the shards of hope on their way out. Um, and in session 36, so that was 34 and 35. So now we're on session 36. This was the Lost Boys episode. So during this episode, they meet Ryder and Charlie, two young boys. So Ryder is like an older teenager, and Charlie's like a young 10-year-old boy. And they're brothers. They originally meet them as Ryder and Charlie are trying to steal their wagon. Which the party easily foils their attempt. But during this, the party grows very fond of the boys, as uh, originally Dane punched the older kid to get a doubt. I was about to say a douse of reality, because doused him in reality.
I
Okay.
mean, it works. It works.
I mean, it wasn't really a drizzle.
It wasn't a
Right.
drizzle. Yep, it was a douse. So we doused him in reality. Um, and it was at that point that they finally started listening to them and accepted the help that the party was offering them, because they have lost their way. So they all of the party bonded with these boys. They started teaching them skills. Mars was teaching them sword fighting, and Dane was helping with that, and like Nuri was teaching like plant herb skills. Like there were so many things. Um, they played with Charlie and he got to be like a boy, just having lots of fun. They also Nori offered Ryder a letter of recommendation, basically to go join the Leodon Shipping Company and get a real job, so he can provide for his family. Um, and then the party pulled together a ton of money to give to the boys, so they also now have a lot more money. Um,
The party or just Dusty?
well, Dusty and I think Nori slipped some money in there, so maybe it was just them, but yeah.
Okay, my bad. I might be
Um,
misremembering.
yeah, that's okay. So I might also be misremembering that. Maybe she didn't. I don't remember. I know Dusty contributed majority of money to that. Um, so the party at this point learns of the Ravagers, which are a group of bandits that reside between Basin Wind and Swiftgate. Um, and then this is where we have a little bit of a hint towards the wrens that are popping up around the area, this dark, goopy stuff that has been killing a lot of animals when they come close to it. So then we have the most sad scene I think I just in these episodes, this horribly sad scene, not horribly, it was a good dramatic scene, between Nori and Dusty, as they come together and Nori confides in Dusty about her trauma and everything she saw during the Dreamholder fight. Um, and Dusty confided in her what he saw as well. And Nori said that at the end, once she's brought back Ami um, and defeated the Heralders, she said that she would not be traveling with the party anymore, in the sense of going to the hillside, which in this case is the afterlife. And Dusty, being the pure soul he is, was like, "Well, I want to follow you there." And it was so sweet. And she was like, "No, you can't come there." And he's like, "Well, I don't want to be alone." And he gives this beautiful speech about humanity and people and like having special people in your life. It was beautiful. Go watch it. Episode 36. Just, it will rip your heart out, okay? It was so cute. Um, and he convinced her not to go with her plan of going to the hillside, and that they would continue to travel together after that. Because Dusty doesn't want to be alone. It was really sweet. Okay, so now we're going to switch to episode 37, which has like the most lore dropping lore in it. So this is where the party finally arrives at Basin Wind. Their pit stop town along the way to get to Lake Mount. Okay. So first off, they get new clothes, which I have, and I've got some images here. First off, we've got Nuri's new look. Um, as Nuri, Sierra has drawn up a picture of Nuri's new look here. Megan just sent me a picture to use to show Amaris's new look. So I can pull that up here on the screen real quick. It might be really big when it first pops up. Sorry, guys. That is humongous. Here is Amaris's new look as well. So we can put them side by side here for a second. We've got the two Leodon cousins, not sisters, and their new looks. Possibly more artwork coming, but as of right now, they've got some new clothes coming in. They're styling. They're styling. Um, yeah, and we'll just put those away now. Okay, so during this episode, they meet this Fey witch named Sasha. Um, and they learn that she is an information broker. So they go to this fancy secret Fey tea shop, which they know is actually like a safe location. It's a neutral Fey court area, basically, so that nobody can attack anybody in these like safe tea shops, kind of a thing. So it's a great place for info brokers. um, so here, Amaris also gets the command word for time piercer, which is Sigun, and which is super awesome. It's pretty exciting for Megan and or Amaris.
Can I add something to that?
Yeah, definitely.
So Sierra was the one that came up with the command word, and she told me that the command word is actually time in Korean. And I actually have a roommate who served her mission in Korea, so as I was explaining this to another one of my roommates, she overheard and she's like, "Oh, she gone?" And says it like in Korean.
Oh, it's
And so it's
Shigon?
like, "Oh yeah, she gone."
Okay. Shigon. I am so sorry for mispronouncing that, guys.
No,
Um,
you're fine.
we
Is
will be
she here?
using
No, she gone.
Shigon. That's the way to remember it. I love that. Okay, we will now be pronouncing it correctly, so we apologize for the incorrect pronunciation. But that is so awesome. Shigon. Okay, so that is your command word for using the time piercer, this epic artifact. Okay, so during this meeting with Sasha, the Fey Witch, um, um, they discovered a lot of information. So they exchanged personal information for more information with Sasha. So Nuri ended up sharing a lot more about herself, but we're gonna go note by note here. Okay. So first off, they discovered that the Heralder is going for the United Court throne. So let me explain real quick. So within the Fey realm, basically, we've got the main courts: spring, summer, winter, fall. Okay. And there is one court called the United Court that originally brought all of the courts together. And there was always elected to be one of the pairs of king and queens from one of the courts would be elected basically to be the United Court ruler. And so they would have the final say on all of the things. Kind of like having a fairy king and queen. Um, and what happened is that um, what happened eventually is that the United Court throne or the royalty basically were murdered a couple months ago. And so the throne is empty for the United Courts, and the courts themselves are kind of like almost at the brink of war on who can get this throne. Everyone blaming each other as to who killed them and whatnot. It's kind of a mess with Fae politics. So they discovered that the Heralder, the main bad guy of the entire series, of this campaign at least, is trying to get that United Court spot. But how is he going to get that? Through the Winter Court throne. So we find out that he has been trying to communicate with Azon, which was talked about before in the past, that because the party discovered that he is actually the current heir to the Winter Court throne. So the Heralder has to try and convince Azon to give him the throne. So that way the Heralder will be able to vie for the United Court throne. Okay? And so he can either convince Azon to do that, or what he can do is, which they find out from the info broker, is he can also just kill out the entire royal bloodline to the Winter Throne and then take it himself. That's the second option.
It really
So-
is as simple as that. It really just finish them all off, and then boom, just I'm the ruler.
Exactly. Kill them all. Which is wild because we found out earlier that Nuri is a Windrail, which is the family that's the royal bloodline to the Winter Court. So Azon is technically her uncle. And so um if the Heralder goes to try and kill all of the Windrails, then he'd have to kill Nuri too in order to get the throne. So it's a bit of a crazy thing. So then they learn about the Obsidian Knight. And the Obsidian Knight is the right-hand man to the Heralder. And they discover that the Obsidian Knight is none other than Nori's husband, Esmond, which is wild.
Drama.
The drama. Nori does end up telling, and it also is like the witch figures it out that Nori is a Windrail, so she's royalty. And then she also discovers that Sasha, the witch that they're talking to, and Nori, one of Nori's brothers, kind of a friendship. So that was a little bit in there. Then Dusty talks to Sasha, and he's asking about druidic powers, and the source of druidic magic. And so Sasha has this really cool moment with him where they both are like talking about what the feeling of druidic magic is like. And highly recommend going and look at it. It's so good. Such a good episode, session 37, which was our last one. Lots of tea. Because they spilt the tea at the tea parlor. Not actually, but lots of drama and lots of crazy
There
stuff.
was literal tea.
There was
literally
tea. So because of that conversation, Dusty becomes friends with Sasha, the info broker Fey witch, and she gives him a fancy non-metal teapot, which is very pretty. And it's still full of tea when she gave it to you, just so you know, by the way. Yeah, of that like really good tea. Okay. Then the party ends up going back to the inn where they talk to Azon via the sending stone that Azon had given them in the before when they had last encountered Azon. So they swapped sending stones so that they could communicate. So they talk to him, and there's this really funny moment. I wish I had copied the clip over to show you guys of just like a hot potato kind of a thing where Azon's like demanding Amaris. He's like, give the stone to Nuri, and Nuri's like tossing it back. It was crazy. It was funny. So go watch it. But Nuri gives Azon the spell that she had learned and created of locating someone's soul and bringing it to a certain spot. This is also where we discover that the Winter Court King, who everyone thought was dead, so Azon's dad, is actually just in a coma, and that it's been kept a secret by Azon. Azon's been keeping that a secret from everybody. So that came out, so that was kind of crazy. There's also brought up that also Azon brought up the fact that there are these wrens in the earth. So this is coming back to the last episode. These dark, goopy, uh, dusty like masses that are coming up out of the ground that are killing a lot of the wildlife and the plant life in the area around it. So he's asking Nuri and Dusty and the rest of the party to help him research that and figure out if there's a way to stop it from spreading. Um, and with that, the party told him that Nuvian might be trying to kill him, the Heralder. Um, and Azon was like, ooh, duly noted. I'm going to keep trying to dodge him. And he's also in Lakemount right now looking for the alchemist. So the party's probably going to meet up with him again soon. Um, Let's see. And now at the end of this session, so Nuri had attempted to contact her husband via sending earlier in the session. Um, and in that moment, he had like a grunt, like he was fighting something, and then said their keyword, fruit tarts, which is I can't talk later, or I can't talk now, I'll contact you later. And lo and behold, at the end of the session, Esmond dials back, sends a sending to Nuri, where he's like, sorry, I couldn't make it to the phone, yada yada. But then he says at the end, you'll be happy to know that Ami is safe.
Whatever that means.
What
Whatever
what
that means.
what does it mean? I mean, I know what it means,
Whatever
but you
that
got
means.
because
Like, there's so many things he could have done to make him think, yeah, safe, you know.
yeah, because from what the party knows is that Ami is at a temple that Nori has left him at with the care of Quinn Cadal, her friend, and they're taking care of Ami, which is Nuri's son. And the fact that Esmond's like, Ami is safe, Nori's like, and the rest of the party's like, it's just crazy. So that was the cliffhanger that we ended off on session 37, that we are all super stoked to come back for session 38 next week, next Friday, to pick up on. So it's been pretty wild. Um And that so far has been all of the sessions, 25 through 37 as our recap. I know we've been trying to keep this short, but we'd like to open up the time now to Q&A. What questions do you guys as the audience have? Put it in the chat. We'll answer them. Um, I know there's a little bit of a delay in the stream, but yeah, so the questions that you guys have, just ask them and we will do our best to answer them. If you have a question for a specific person too, just say in your comment that you're writing, "Hey, this question is for Greg. Hey, this question is for Megan or Emily or Dane." Um, but right now we're opening the floor up to question and answer. We'd love to see what you guys want more thoughts on, or if you guys want to talk, or if you want to talk about a theory that maybe the players have or you have, explanations on mechanics in the game, or just the story itself. So we're going to open it up to questions. I think we'll wait just a minute to see if anything is coming off the top of your head. If not, we've got a couple things that we can talk about too. So it is your guys' time as the audience to shoot in some questions. um, okay, Scarlet E asked, what twist by the DM has caught y'all most by surprise? So that's
Oh,
a player question, guys. That's not me.
yeah. You go first. You go first. I've got one, but Megan, you go.
Right. I think the biggest one for me was finding out the Obsidian Knight was Azon. I was putting the connections together as
Oh no, the Obsidian Knight is Esmond.
Yes,
Esmond.
yes,
Sorry,
Esmond.
Esmond. Esmond's the Obsidian Knight. Like as Emily was like explaining the whole thing, that connection clicked in my mind. I don't remember if I put it um, in the YouTube chat or in our private chat, but I'm sitting here just like, oh my gosh, Esmond's the Obsidian Knight. What the heck? Like
Yeah.
I was freaking out.
That
Yeah.
was crazy. That was a crazy, crazy reveal. It's just like, yeah, because that's just so close to the Heralder. Like, it's like right. It's like right. He's basically is the Heralder. He's not, but he basically is. Yeah, wild. Again, real glad Nuri got that nat 20 persuasion check to have uh Edmund turn his
Esmond on your
ways.
side.
Yes, yes.
I'm really curious as to how the Herald is going to feel when his Obsidian Knight, if his Obsidian Knight actually comes out and fights back. Or I guess he could always stay hidden and quiet, but he's active in the fight.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's crazy.
absolutely.
Yeah. I think for me, one of the biggest ones was had to do with Heifer, the god of prosperity. Because so Heifer, the god of prosperity, has appeared a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot. It's actually the most named god we have. Pretty much anytime a god's been mentioned, it's been Heifer. Um, and like session one, before even session one, I'm like writing in my character's backstory, and I'm like, hey, I've got this thing. I know this like deep lore of the world. What should it be? And Emily sends me about Heifer, but I don't realize it's the same Heifer that we've been encountering this whole time. And so I think the big twist for me was how frequently it came up and like how ingrained in the lore it was. I kind of was not expecting that when I was given secret lore and secret information. But yeah, no. Yeah. I wish I had connected the name sooner because Dusty would have been reacting to a lot more of it, but oh well.
But
Because
Greg was
I thought it was
still
different.
connecting it.
Yeah. But I went back rewatching everything and I was like, wait, here. And here. And here. Wait, hold on. That's crazy. Yeah, that was the big thing for me. That was crazy.
Uh, I'm unsure if I'm restricted to just these recap sessions because I still love the fact that like just at the very beginning that Dane existed, this companion that we had that wasn't there but was
Yeah,
there.
dude.
That like if we go for the whole storyline, I think that's probably been my favorite twist. Just the like how just because of how close the character was to the twist.
That's true.
Yeah.
Um, but if
Just
we go
out of
to
nowhere.
yeah, but if we go to just these last recap ones, I think the fact that Azon's dad is still alive and in coma, where it's like there's so many things we can do. We can save this. We can fix this. But
So many options.
yeah.
But yeah, for like these questions were not restricted to just these recap sessions. You can go anywhere on in the series.
Oh,
Um,
then definitely the fact that we had a party member that we didn't know about.
The whole time.
yeah. I, yeah, that was definitely, I gotta say, that was one of my proudest moments as a dungeon master. Being like, you guys forgot about this party member that was with you. And I literally had been hinting that from session one. I
Yeah,
was,
you kept it. It was like, oh yeah, I remember finding her ring, but it was a ring to my character. If I had shown it to Amaris, maybe something came up. But just
yeah,
like, wait,
4 beds in the
Yeah,
inn.
4 beds in the inn. And when Amaris like woke up and there was a flower on her bag, and it's just like, oh, it came from her sister. And Dane was not planned by me. I had planned Amaris's family. She has 3 older siblings, a brother, and twin sisters. And then Emily comes out with, they're actually triplets. And there's this one other one. And it's just like, what?
So crazy. That was wild.
Yeah. I had so much fun with that. I was like, this is perfect. False Hydra all the way.
Roxburgh
Oh,
Parent
yeah.
Trap vibes.
Yes,
Yep.
Parent Trap vibes. Any more questions that you guys have? Any other ones? Any questions about
Bring
the
it on.
lore? Yeah, bring it on. We're
Oh,
here. You can ask any and all questions. You can also ask
feel
questions
free.
about us if you want to learn more about us. Um, or more about the lore and the story. We'll see how much I slip up tonight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just try to get as much information as possible. Just
Yeah.
anything to help us out.
Oh,
That'd be
That's
definitely.
where you guys sneak questions into the chat. You're like, DM, will you answer this? Oh my goodness.
Mhm.
I tried
Yeah.
that in the past. It didn't work
Mm,
though.
no.
Dang it,
Yeah.
Oh well.
Dusty.
Doesn't mean it
Uh
won't work with you guys.
Scarlett asked, random question, do any of you guys have pets IRL? Um, that is a good question. I used to have pets. I don't anymore, sadly. They have passed on. But what about everyone else?
I know, but I want one.
Yeah.
Uh, Not
Megan,
in a
Greg.
place to take care of another living being yet.
Oh,
So
I feel you,
yeah.
Dane.
I do have some pets, so I'm still um, living at home, so I don't have to worry too much about taking care of animals. I have lots of people to help me do it. I have 2 cats. Both of them were actually stray cats that we just like found, and then we're like, "All right, you're mine now." And like they didn't have like a collar or anything, so like there was no chip, no collar, nothing. So we just kind of took care of them.
Oh,
And
fun.
then one of them we got here in Colorado where I'm living now, and the other one my sister got while she was living in Utah, and then she had one of my other siblings drive the cat over here, and the cats have gotten along. So now they haven't killed each other. Should been good. And I also have 9 chickens that we take care of. We have like a quarter-acre backyard, and so we just kind of let them roam around and uh, eat their food, and we'll go out and give them food and water and stuff. And then we
Wait,
get
I
eggs out
didn't
of it.
know we were
Pretty
counting
fantastic.
farm animals because I've got
Well,
a bunch of chickens too.
I consider them pets. I consider them pets. The state
Okay, yeah.
considers them as pets, so therefore I have to.
I see, I see. Mine are more for their egg production.
Hmm. I see. I see.
All
Yeah, we
right,
have lots of eggs all the time.
what about you, Megan?
So I have my own personal pet. Sadly, I could not bring him with me here to school. I do have my own cat, and he is my child. He has the nickname Blobby because he just blubs.
Oh,
But aside from him, my sister also has her own cat. These 2 cats are complete opposites from each other, so seeing them interact is actually hilarious. And then my family has a dog. Endless energy if you've ever been around a border collie. We used to have chickens, but sadly coyotes got to all of them.
ouch. No good. Okay, I am gonna switch gears here real quick because not the real Jay did ask a question.
Yep.
Um, he asked, "What's y'all's favorite class to play and why?" It doesn't have to be your current class. Um, so, I who else wants to start? I got to think about this for a sec.
I
I
really
can
like that
start.
question. I really like
It's a
fantastic
good
question. Go
question.
ahead, Megan. Go ahead.
I am actually deciding between rogue or dragon knight. Um, So if you were there for the Valentine's Day one shot, I played a Dragon Knight that was part of the Cobalt's Crest
No,
book.
Kobold's brew, Kobold's brew.
Cobalt's Brew. Okay.
Hmm.
Kobolds.
I've heard both, and
Yeah,
so I'm
yeah,
still
yeah.
confused which one it
Yeah,
was.
so Kobold Press is a really big company that
Yeah,
produces a lot of like third-party D&D stuff. Kobold's Brew is run by Zachary Kistner, and he's created Auron's Archive of Fractured Realities. You got to go check it out. We made a live stream
absolutely.
about it.
Yeah, we could have recapped that episode too, but I mean, it was a one shot. You could probably see the
Mhm.
one shot and
Yeah.
have the full thing.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I probably would enjoy the Dragon Knight a little more if I had more time to really fledge it out and try everything there was to it. But other than that, I really like the spell casting ones. Magic is a big thing for me. So playing a rogue that could cast magic, that was a lot of fun. On top
Arcane
of it, I
Trickster.
the
Yep,
arcane
that's the one.
trickster, and on top of it, the character in general, I played a tabaxi based off of a munchkin cat. And if you've never seen a munchkin cat before, they are basically the wiener dogs of cats. They just have
Yep.
little stubby legs. So she was short. And she was just absolute chaos.
Yeah,
And I loved it.
classic.
I love Jade. All right, who's next?
I feel
Favorite
like Greg
class
was
and
very
why?
excited.
I was very excited. I can go. Okay. My favorite class to play is Paladin. I really like Paladin. I always have. Um, Pretty much any time I played a Paladin in the past, I would play a half orc Paladin, um, as some of the players can attest. But even before like the campaign we played together before this one, I like half orc Paladin. That was the one. Um, but yeah,
Garrosh.
yeah, classic. Good times, good times. But yeah, Paladin's awesome. You get like martial stuff, and you also have options for like spell casting. You get to use your spells for smites. Oh, smites are so nice. You just one shot a dragon. I did that once. It was pretty epic. I had haste, but I mean, I did like 200 something damn. It was pretty good. Pretty good.
Paladins are so like powerful.
So much damage. But my favorite subclass for Paladin is um oh, I've got it right here. Hold on. Let me open it up. It's in Xanathar's guide. Just conceptually my favorite, not like mathematically the best
Both
Paladin.
of the ancients.
No. Both of the ancients kind of interesting. Let me see if I can just pull it. Yeah. Paladin. It is Oath of. Here it is. Oath of Redemption. That one's my favorite one.
What
It's
book is
about
that
like
one from?
that's from Xanathar's guide. So it's kind of like a more supportive and taking care of your teammates and peace and like non-hostility. I haven't had a chance to play one yet. Well, I played it once, but it was like for a session, and then that was it. And I enjoyed it while I did. But conceptually, it's my favorite one.
All right, Dane, you're up.
Um, so I'm very much a support player in a lot of things that I play. I like being the tank and I like being a healer. If I ever combine those two, I like it. So Paladin is one of my favorites. I haven't had the chance to try it out yet, but I want to try a druid sometime because I feel like those would be very good support characters.
Is fun. Can
Um,
confirm.
yeah,
I'm not gonna
that's
lie, I'm a little afraid of the druid class, because I played it once before, um, and I died my very first session. Just
fair enough.
absolutely died.
Traumatized.
Fair enough. I mean, I've played. So I've only technically played in D&D three classes: Paladin, Cleric, and now Monk. With Warlock and Cleric again. But I don't know, I think I'm too new to be able to say specifically on just one, but I do like my support roles.
Support role is really fun. I gotta admit, I kind of back Dane on this one. Support is my favorite like role to play. Um, and
It,
I
it
would
just makes
say,
getting kills all the more fun because you're not supposed to get them.
and yes, Seji, it is still Q&A. We're finishing up one of the other questions, but if you have a question, drop it in the chat because we're in it. Um, I guess to finish up this question, my favorite class, it's hard to decide between a cleric and a wizard. Because I love the diversity of spells you get with wizard, but I love how you don't have to prepare your spells with cleric. And it's like it's really nice. So I'm very much so like a very like prepared spell or not prepared spell, a magic caster kind of person. So I love those because I get to think outside of the box with the way that I solve problems and the way that I like um come at with battles. Um I really love strategy games. You'll find me at home playing board games with my dad and my husband, and they're always strategy board games. So with spells, I feel like it's a great opportunity to be strategic with battles. Um,
Mm.
okay, so we'll go into the next question. Roxy Bird said, "Ooh, okay, this is a two-part question. Okay, what was the least satisfying fight you guys have played here, and what was the most annoying slash long-lasting fight?"
Oh, that's a
Okay,
good question. Ooh,
Mm.
I think it's kind of weird, but the I think it might actually be the same fight, but for different reasons. At least for me.
yeah,
Most recently, we had the fight with the Dream Beholderman,
the dream
and that
holder.
that I think was our longest fight, but it wasn't inherently bad. But then like at because it was like interesting and engaging and like it was dangerous and we actually had to think about what we were doing. And then but it was also really satisfying because we had like a clear like goal, like who's doing this to us, where are pains coming from, and we were just able to. I mean, nothing was more satisfying than Douse just like he takes it out and just starts beating it up on the ground just out of pure frustration. That was good. That was
I-
so a
the
little bit of
question
both for
was
me.
least satisfying, but
Yeah, well that was
Well,
the most satisfying.
yeah,
it,
so there's least
I
satisfying, most annoying slash long lasting, which technically the dream holder was the longest lasting fight.
if you go for least satisfying for me, I think it would have had to been the purple worm, where I just felt like I couldn't do anything without taking damage.
Classic. Oh yeah, in the desert, that one.
Yep,
You guys were supposed to
Oh,
run away
dude,
from them.
it came up and
Okay.
it killed two of us at once. It was impressive. Well, actually, it killed
we had to
Nuri.
save them.
It killed Nuri in one hit. We tried to save Nuri. It killed Amaris.
Yeah, so here's the thing. Here's the thing, Dane. You said you couldn't do anything without getting hurt. Nuri and I couldn't do anything whatsoever. Like we're dying in the stomach of this worm.
Yeah,
Um
I mean, Sierra has taken it, so she got an acid burn scar on her character from that, and so she's been drawing it into her character, like the acid burn that's like on her chest here,
Lore.
um, in all of the like fan art that she's drawing. Yes, Scarlety, they were supposed to run away. We have a couple questions piling up, so we're gonna switch gears, and go to not the real
um
Jay. Oh, yeah,
real
Megan?
quick. I just wanted to say the longest lasting one for me had to be the false hydra. That one was driving me nuts.
That one.
I feel like
It
that one
was
was like because it was silenced immediately.
yeah.
I
It
feel
was
like that one
so
was
like it was quiet. Like you'd slash and no noise would come.
So wait, you have you guys seen Storks?
Yeah.
Okay, so Dane and Greg won't get this, but you know that scene when they're fighting the penguins, but the baby's asleep?
Wait, I'm trying to remember this. Oh yeah, yeah. And they're like,
That's
shh.
basically what that fight was.
Oh my gosh. Okay, yeah. People, YouTube it after this session. Stork's penguin fight scene. It is dead silent. Um, I love that. Okay, but not the real Jay said, what's the most broken combos you've seen throughout the sessions you've played? Since I already asked a question, you can give time for others' questions first. Okay.
Throwing scorpions and then knocking a guy out. Just throw a scorpion at him, blind him, deafen him, and then hit him over the head. Something like, yeah, it works
Yeah,
every time. Knocked out. We tried it 3-4 separate times. Worked every single time, without
It
fail.
did.
it did work, and it was ridiculous. That was when the party was going against the Cleo, the Lamia down in the desert den. So if you guys want to watch that, they'd used a very broken tactic of just throwing a freaking scorpion at their faces, and it was pretty broken, but pretty funny.
Secret
Okay,
weapon.
it wasn't just any scorpion. It was Dusty shapeshifted as a scorpion.
Yes.
Yes,
Dusty would
wild
then
shape.
like clamp their mouths closed so they couldn't scream or anything. So it didn't alert anyone else.
No.
Classic.
How to be silent. Just clamp their mouths shut. Okay. Um, Next question by Seji. Hopefully that answered your question, not the real Jay. Seji said that he's going to be playing a Warforged character for an upcoming one shot. Um, Dude trades away his humanity and his whole life for an obsession, and I'm high key tempted to make him a transformer, and that's awesome.
Do it, man.
So how would I do that other than going the Beast Wars route and having an animal alt mode? Okay.
Good question. I mean, there is always one of the easiest ways is to let your DM know what you're looking for. If you have like a specific combo, like I've actually done that. I have things that I haven't done yet, but I've like cleared them with Emily before I do them. Like if you have like a specific thing you want to go for, like let your DM know and tell them. Because they'll help you. They'll help you with it because they want to see you have fun and they want like the session to be good for you. So yeah, just talk to your DM. First things first. Yeah.
Absolutely. Honestly, there's a lot of like different combos that you can make. I mean, we've seen with Greg's character Dusty as a Warforged druid, and what totem are you or path you're on? Or I
It's
guess it's
Druid of the
circle.
Shepherd. Yeah.
Druid of the Shepherd. Yeah. And like that works out really well for Dusty as a character, but
Mm-hmm.
honestly, there's a lot of ways you can go with it. So, yeah, just
Yeah.
talk to your dungeon master and honestly, I think a Transformer Warforged sounds really awesome.
It's pretty
But
Oh,
fantastic.
for sure.
Might
yeah,
be might spec into Artificer and like
yeah.
create weapons and then take
You
some
make
time and
yourself
like
the weapon.
augment them to your arms or hands or whatever. And then you might be able to like have them like blast out. Yeah, just thoughts.
Okay,
Just thoughts.
Yeah.
I have to add
But
this one. Oh, sorry.
I was just say, just reiterate, like, yeah, definitely just talk to your DM about it. I mean, I have
Mhm.
occasional random ideas that I'll throw across to Emily, be like, hey, what if I made my character sleepwalking or prone to that? That was one of the ones I threw at her, and I'm like, it'd be a fun idea to have, but if you have an idea, iron it out and propose it. And if they say it's too OP, see if there's a compromise.
Yeah, also, Scarlety, love that comment. We are happy to entertain Sir Archibald for you. Um, Okay, one last thought on the Warforged thing. So, an example of this is my brother. I played a campaign with him a while back ago, a couple years ago, and he played. So I was the dungeon master, and he played a Warforged artificer. And so what he did, um, this was back when my brother was in the Navy, and so he knew a lot of like weapon schematics and like he knew a lot of things. So being an artificer for him was very fun for him. So what he ended up doing was he MacGyvered and attached basically to his Warforged character, um, in essence, um, like a rocket launcher where he would shoot out like a spear with like the catapult spell, and there was another spear on like that would shoot out with it, and they each had a little bag of holding on them that he would um have on there. And so basically when it hit its target, it would go into both the bag of holdings would go into each other and create just the big like poof of like 10 what is it, 10 feet diameter or 10-foot radius or something like that, of just everything in that radius would get sucked into the astral plane. So he created,
Railgun moment.
yeah, exactly. So it was his favorite thing. Like literally, the way that this first was introduced is they encountered some bandits that were trying to steal their wagon. Um, and they just basically were in front of the road, and the leader's like, "All right, we could do the easy way or the hard way. You give us all of your stuff, you know?" And then my brother was like, "No, you give us your stuff." And then shoots the thing at the leader, but just right at its feet. And then the leader gets sucked into the astral plane. And all the rest of the bandits are like, "Take our stuff. We don't care. We're leaving. We want to live. We don't want to just into oblivion." Um,
Intimidation check. You have advantage.
exactly. So yeah, so there's a lot of fun stuff that you guys can do, especially with Warforged and Artificers. Um, Alrighty, I think we only have time for maybe mm, two more questions before we wrap up tonight's recap episode. So, are there any other questions you guys have? Anything about the lore? Any like questions about stuff you are trying to work on in like Dungeons and Dragons and stuff? Um, any questions about the players or the world, the campaign, the Harbingers?
Feel
Yeah,
free.
anything that you guys have, or for Rosemary PG Studios, or just anything, any
I mean,
question. So,
I I could ask one if we don't get one.
yeah.
What is everybody's favorite board game?
Um, that's so hard to pick. It's like picking a favorite child, Dane.
Or most recent one played or something.
Oh, hmm. Terraforming Mars? I'd probably say I really love that game, and that is the most recent one I've played. So,
I don't think I've done that one.
oh, it's really long.
Oh, good.
Very strategic, very fun.
Is that a leave it on the table, come back to it in the morning?
It can be, but my family generally likes to sit down and get it done. The very first time I played, it was 5 hours playtime.
Oh
But that's because we
goodness.
were all learning. So
Let's see. I
from
think
now
the
on, it only
most.
takes my family about 3 hours to play.
Oh, okay. So it knocked
Yeah,
it down, not quite half, but
yeah, that's
just a
pretty
couple
good.
hours.
It's fun. Play it right before dinner.
Yeah.
Quick game.
Quick game.
I would say this is more a card game, not really a board game, but Skull King.
Ooh.
That's one that my family has played a lot of recently.
That's a fun one.
Hmm.
Cool King Rock.
Yeah.
Oh, and not the real Jay said Marvel Villainous is definitely a favorite.
Ooh.
Another in my top 20 is Bridges of Shangri-La. Ooh. I
Mm.
haven't heard of
Very
that
good
one,
ones.
but Marvel Villainous is really good too.
Yeah.
I love the Disney Villainous. I think I gotta say that one's probably my favorite. I'm sorry.
I have played that one. I have played that one. I think my favorite board game, well, board game would probably be Seven Wonders. I don't know if you guys have played that one. That one's a pretty
That
good
one's a
one.
good one.
Like collection, resource management, wars, lots of stuff. Cool mechanics. And then my
Code
favorite
names from
card
Roxy
game.
Bird.
Oh shoot, that one's fantastic. I have played that
Mhm.
one. Very good. My favorite card game though is probably Yu-Gi-Oh, and that's the one that's most recently played. I go through phases. I get into it and then I get out of it, and then I get back into it and then I get back out of it. So, but that one I played more recently.
Okay. I gotta say, I have one final question. And this is for both the audience and for my players here. I would love. Oh, no offense, Disney villainous is great. Oh yeah, no, 100%. I'm glad that you're not offended.
I,
Um,
I'm
but
partial to what is it? Betrayal, House on a Hill.
that one's so good. That one's so good, Dane. Okay,
Fantastic.
are we ready for the final question?
Yes.
And audience, I
Yes.
want to see your answers too.
Feel free to send them.
Players and audience. So this question is, what do you think is going to happen next in the campaign? What are your theories? What is going on? I would love to know.
I do have a theory.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there is something behind the alchemist. If any of you saw the latest Harbingers campaign poster that I made with Ami and Dane, they're both lying there in comas. On one side there's Nuri, on the other there's the alchemist. The alchemist is kind of more like shrouded in a cloak, face kind of hidden and all that. Emily, if you find that, if you could post it up.
Wait, I'm trying to figure out what poster you're looking at.
Find it.
Is it on
I
Instagram? Did you
remember
post it to yours?
I remember the picture. And so that's what I've been going off of, but
I remember sending that to you guys, and Sierra is just like, "Oh my gosh, it's Ami! He looks so peaceful," and all that.
Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, I see now. I don't know why I was like, the alchemist was on there. I forgot because I was so focused on Ami and Dane were there. Let me see if I can.
I did put the alchemist on there. If you could put it up.
Yeah, let me pull it.
One key thing.
While you're talking about it, I'll pull it up.
One key thing that I put in this is the alchemist is more hidden in the cloak, like face is hidden and all that. And behind both Nuri and the alchemist are spirits. Like they're kind of blurred out, but like shadowed spirits are behind both of them. The alchemist, I feel, is on the darker side of waking up these comas host patients. Like they have some motive of doing it, and it is not good.
It could be. I mean, I wonder if we have anything like any evidence supporting that. The only thing we really know about them is that there's rumors that they have brought someone back, and that they know the innkeeper, and the innkeeper likes them.
And they're not very sociable people.
Yeah, not very social. Wait, who was it who did the recap on that? It was it you, Dane? Because
no,
it was.
I think it was Megan.
Oh no, it was Megan. Yeah.
I did the recap with a turtle.
Yeah, it was like it was that conversation in like episode 30 or 29 or something, where.
What was the confirmation?
It was a conversation between Nuri and then the innkeeper there, who knew the alchemist.
Oh yeah. Oh, I can tell you the details about that. Let me show the poster on the stream.
Sure, yeah, pull up the poster. Because the poster is very cool. Very fancy, very schnazzy.
Okay. I think it's showing on the stream now.
Yeah, I see it.
There it is.
So you guys can see this poster that Amaris made, or Megan made.
Tommy on the right, Dane on the left.
Yes, that conversation between Nuri and Atura, the innkeeper, where she explained who the alchemist was and that her name was Ray Nymph, and that she was located in Lake Mount, uh, al- at an alchemist shop, like an herbalist shop, kind of a thing.
Mhm.
That's right. It's possible. That honestly would be kind of crazy. Like that would
It
be like,
And what are
it
you
would
thinking
be
is the alchemist?
but like, would we
that the
if
alchemist is a little bit on the darker side.
yeah, like the alchemist
Ooh.
is like evil or something. Not inherently evil, but like doing this for the. It's like, what if they're just like doing this for coinage, and the reason they're secretive is because they don't want to get caught.
Maybe.
No, I'm
I
thinking there's something about the alchemist that's tied to the heralder, and these comatose
could
patients are
be.
being woken up to serve the heralder.
That could be. That could be.
could be.
Oh, that could be. Oh, I really hope not. Don't write that down, Emily. Don't write
Oh
that
no,
down.
I sorry, I
I
was commenting
You
to
should-
Seji.
I mean, the likelihood of this actually happening is next to zero, but I think it would be really hilarious if we go find the alchemist and it turns out to be Marilla.
Yo,
The whole
that would
time.
be so. I would be hyped. I would
The
be
alchemist was with us the whole time.
hyped.
You know, actually, I did have that thought too. Actually,
that
I
would
mean,
have been. That would be.
it
So
would be a
cool.
way to bring her back if she comes
I
back.
doubt
But
it, but like it would be pretty cool.
I know that's what I'm
It would
like.
be cool.
It's practically zero,
I miss
but
Marilla and her bread goofs and her blue boy and her
all
and
powerful wizard.
all powerful, the greatest sorceress, and all powerful sorceress. Yeah, I miss
Yeah,
that.
Marilla's awesome. I
So
will
cool.
say this, she will return. You don't know
I
when.
expect it. I
She
expect it.
will.
I'm holding you to it. Yeah.
If that's the case, I'm going to put a pin on she is the alchemist.
She is the alchemist.
Any other theory? You were my friend and you betrayed me. Yes.
I mean, I don't think Douse would even be that upset about it. Be like, we all have our secrets, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She had secrets. We never got to them. The blue scales. She was like a sea witch, nymph,
Yeah.
dragon, seahorse. I don't know.
Audience, what are your theories?
Yeah, if you have any, feel free to put them in the chat.
And yes,
Pull
there
out your
will
cork
be.
boards. Share your cork boards on Facebook. We'll
Yes.
compare notes.
I'm curious as to what the audience theories are.
I think we
Yeah.
might end up going into the Feywild. Is
We
my
have to.
actual like the next step because I think we're gonna find them and we're probably gonna have to do something with the courts.
Yeah, the courts. I think that's like because we have to get to we have to get to the Heralder. Like we have to actually encounter him. That's in the Feywild.
Yeah. So that's probably gonna be like our final boss fight is running through his domain.
Yeah. I don't know.
Unless it's not in the Feywild, it's in some other plane.
don't say that, Emily. Of course, you know you're the DM.
You know. Well, we can do
That's
anything
true.
we want. This is just as much our story as it is Emily's. She just knows all of the background and lore and characters and areas and events and
Yeah, that
everything
is
else.
accurate. I try to make it open world with like there is a story for you guys to follow and uncover, but like what you guys do is up to you. You know,
I could literally message Emily and be like, "Hey, this character exists," and she would have to say, "Yes, they do." And look, this is where they are.
that is also true. Like
Yeah.
when the party creates a character that they really like, I generally will try or like I will create this character.
Yeah, put it in.
Not the real Jay says I predict that the cabbage man will return. Yes.
Reoccurring gag. Reoccurring gag.
That would be hilarious. I gotta admit, I don't remember who the cabbage cart guy was.
He appeared. He was in the
What? No, like
background.
what race he was? Was he just a dude? Like just a human dude? Was he like?
I I don't think it was brought up. I think it was only mentioned that there was a guy with a cabbage
There
cart.
was a guy with a cabbage cart.
Okay,
But
there we
I think
go.
He will be back.
I
I can
think
make
it
it
would.
up now.
I think it'd be funny if
He's there.
he comes in. He comes in. We somehow destroy the cart, and he's just like, "I left one other world to avoid this," and then like walks off.
Come on, I left this other universe, and here I am.
Way of Four Elements monks. That's mostly who's over in that universe.
I'm curious. I hope I don't give anything away by asking about this.
Oh, you
But what do
won't.
you guys think are the Wrens?
The Wrens.
Mm-hmm.
I know they were mentioned a couple times.
The
Could
Wrens
you-
are that black goo, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm,
and like they're there.
There's also
Mm-hmm.
a shortage of certain materials going on.
do we
So
know
it
how
could
many
be-
of those Wrens are out there, or is it?
We haven't really explored. We just know they're there. That's enough.
Yeah, I think like there's a shortage of certain materials, like minerals and all that. I think those are being turned into the Wrens for some kind of purpose, or the Wrens are going to become the Fey circles for the Heralder and his workers.
Ooh.
All good ideas. Good ideas.
Well,
I probably would have leaned on the side that they might be the souls that are trapped or something, and
ooh.
or the ones
Ooh.
that had been like used up and had been discarded.
Like trash, like slag. Awful.
But I don't
mean,
know
yeah.
how that would work with them being in the bracelets. So like,
I mean, it's possible.
Alrighty. Well,
Hmm.
we are going to, with that, thank you for your thoughts on that. We are going to conclude the stream here. If you guys have any other questions or anything, please drop them in the comments. We'll try to answer them at the beginning of next session. And any final thoughts that the players want to leave us with?
If you like Emily's hat, go check out the merch.
Yeah, because if you're
No.
super married, like
I
I
mean,
am,
Just saying. Nuri's notebook, got the super married, got
Yeah.
stickers, mugs.
we've got the
shirts.
awesome what is it, mouse pad? Oh
Yes.
no.
Good.
As soon as I'm unfrozen, everyone else is frozen. Yeah, I was noticing that on my end, and I was trying to do everything I could to unfreeze them. You can hear them, but they're frozen. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah,
I will
it's
be
okay.
getting
What if I-
better internet soon.
Hold on.
So I apologize for that. But any final thoughts, anyone?
Yeah.
thanks for watching this.
Yeah, thanks
Yeah.
for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate that.
Yeah, of course. Sorry we went longer than normal, but we hope you guys enjoyed the recap and all of the questions and answers. And we hope to see you guys next week at the next session of the Harbingers D&D campaign, session 38, so we can continue the story as it starts to get juicy.
Spicy.
Alrighty. So with that, we love you guys. Yes, we appreciate you guys so much too. And we hope you all have a wonderful rest of your evening, and we'll see you next week.